Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this acrylic landscape. So I've got a 60 by 20 gray primed canvas. I just took some black and white paint and just covered canvas with it. It's all dry now, and I've got the following colors that I'm going to use today: light blue violet, sap green, light olive green, phthalo blue, neon red, lemon yellow, cadmium orange hue, and titanium white. So I'm going to go ahead and get started just by applying a bunch of different colors and sections and then kind of blending them into one another with some soft sweeping strokes. I'm going to begin adding the colors with my large filbert brush. This is a number 50. I'm just going to get it wet first. Just a little bit of water and dab off any drips on a towel. And I'm just going to start with some neon red. My orange, and some yellow and white, all without washing my brush off in between. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to take one of my dry, soft mop brushes. This is a round 1 inch, and I'm just going to very lightly blend out these colors and make them look a little bit softer. Just going around in light little circles. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit more of my red and my white and make this bright pink color and add a little bit in here while the colors are still wet. It's really fun to play around and blend in more colors. I've washed out my large filbert brush, and I'm now going to take a little bit of phthalo blue, and I'm going to start adding some phthalo blue at the top here and then down here. Right away, I'm going to take my light blue violet and I'm going to start adding it all around. No particular reason why I'm adding the colors where I'm adding them. At this point, I don't even know exactly what I'm painting yet. I'm just having fun adding these colors. I'll worry about what the landscape is going to be after. You'll see that really pretty color we've made just by not washing the brush out. We've got a little bit of those blues left in there, and then picking up a little bit of the neon red and the white. Quickly over to one of my mop brushes, and I'll begin to swirl around. I'm just going to catch the edges here, take a little bit more of my white and a little bit of pink. It's best to do this right away before your paint can dry. And if you're having trouble keeping up, have a little misting water bottle and just stand about this far, about a foot away from the canvas, and just finely mist it. And that will prevent you from having any drips on your canvas, and it'll keep your painting wet, so you can continue to blend Now this brush is getting a little bit too saturated, and this is what happens, and then it will leave those brush strokes that I don't like. So I always like to have a few extra soft brushes on hand, just so that I can continue making these soft blending strokes. See the difference? And I'm going to go ahead and just really enjoying these two colors together, so I'm going to continue adding these. They blend into one another so nicely. Kind of looks like puffy clouds. See, and that's what'll start to happen when you just don't worry about or think about what you're going to paint. If you just come in and approach your paintings first with colors and blending, pick your favorite colors, or if you're wanting to really get out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself and choose some colors that you normally wouldn't and add those. So we've got this strong gold here in the center. Now that's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see where that's going to take me in this painting and what it's going to end up being. Now you'll notice sometimes in my paintings, in my videos, I kind of alternate from my left hand to my right hand. I'm mostly left-handed when I paint, but sometimes, especially working on a larger canvas, and it can be a little bit tiring, so I'll switch and alternate to my right hand. Okay, so I think now I'm going to start coming in with a smaller number 14 filbert brush. I'm going to get wet, and I'm going to add a little bit of that light pink, yellow, and white. Maybe a little bit more white in there. Let's see. Very soft peachy color. And the brightest area here, I think, is where I'm going to concentrate on having some sunlight. I'll take a little bit of water on my brush, just enough to thin the paint out a bit. And just add these soft little scoops in different directions. Some going under, some going over like this. The layering is where the magic really starts to happen. So again, this is something I kind of like to do if I'm not really sure what I want to paint yet. I like to come in and just start working on puffy looking clouds, sky, dreamy skies. Take just a little bit more of my pink and red, or white and red to make that pink. Got a little hint of that yellow in there still. So we've got the softness from using those dry mop brushes, which are makeup brushes, by the way, most of them. Sometimes I like to use a Princeton, an actual paintbrush. You can get those online or you can get them at, I've seen them at Michael's. Got a drip happening there. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna use that, find a way to use that little accidental drip in my painting. I like incorporating those drips in a painting, fantasy painting. Sometimes they'll end up being trees or vines. Now I just stopped midway between drying because I was looking at this and this stands out to me really strongly. Now this is looking like a hummingbird to me. So I'm going to go in with my round brush. This is a number 5, and I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on the shape that's already there. I have a little head here, obviously the beak there. I don't know, that's just what it seems to look like to me anyways. And I've painted a few hummingbirds and I see them all the time here. And they're just so pretty. Add a little bit more yellow. And then just a little flick down at the bottom there. Take a little bit more of my phthalo blue and a bit of white. Just sort of scoop down. And then a little bit of yellow and white. Make a light turquoise color here with blue. And I'll just start tapping. Not really sure how far I want the beak to come out. I don't want it to go too far out. We'll just kind of have it sort of disappear. Anyways, just a little something like that I thought I would go with. And I've got that little drip area here. And I think I'll just take a little bit of white. I'll just start to pull a little something down here. White and yellow. Oh, and there's even a little bit of yellow in there from before, so I can use that. Maybe there's a few little waterfalls here. I'm gonna twist my brush and roll into that yellow and white, and I'll just tap for a highlight here. I'm going to continue with the same color. And just make these little scoops, layering over. I'm going to take one of my angle brushes. This is number 10. I'll get it a little bit wet and thin out my warm butter color here. And I think I'm going to use a little bit more yellow. And a little bit more water so it flows out better. So I'm really thinning it. Add a little bit of orange in there. Create a light golden peach color. And just add these pretty sun rays that I'm going to layer over. I'm going to pull and layer right over off the canvas. And soften. I'm going to do a second layer of clouds in here, and it works well with this brush too. So you can apply the same techniques using different brushes. And then also use this brush to create waterfalls. And then a light little pool area here. So I add a few strokes, brush strokes this way, and then a few little wiggles for a gentle splash and spray down at the bottom. And I go into that light pink I made again with the red and the white. And let's see. Maybe a few more. A few more sun rays. Some waterfalls. More waterfalls down here. And then blend it out. I think I'm going to take a little bit of orange and my blue and mix them up to make like a dark brown color. And this is a smaller filbert brush. The number has, oh, it's a number 4. I can still see it on there. And I think, I have a few ideas. I think I'm gonna be really bold. Sorry guys, I don't want to scare you, but I'm having an idea right about here. I'm gonna have a log. Right over here. Take some more paint, make it really dark right in here. The next brush I'm going to use is an oval mop brush. This is a really small one. And I'm going to take some of my light olive green, some yellow, and a little bit of white. I'm going to go on the log and build it up with some moss. Now as I'm adding this, I'm picking up a little bit of the blue and the brown. And then coming from here, and I'm just going to have this sort of blend in to the clouds so it all looks like it's all flowing together. And have those little bits of moss that sort of hang down. I want to have it look really kind of random though. I don't want them too evenly spaced. I want it to look really natural. And we'll take a little bit more of those colors. And I'll add it around here. We've got some sunlit moss. I'm going to build up my highlights a little bit more, just in a few areas. playing it more on the yellow and the white. You know, the acrylic paint dries darker, so that's why I'm being a little bit more generous here. There, it just really stands out, doesn't it? And I'm just going to sweep out a little bit of this down and around here too. Have a little grass landing. Just layering over the blue. And I'll pick up a little bit more. This time I'm going to add a bit of, I'm going to tone it with a bit of that brown that I made. So it's a bit darker now, a little bit muddier looking. We have so many pretty colors going on that it's important to add some more earth tones. I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo white, and I'm gently going to pull from the edge here. And then I think right down here, I'll add a little pool. I'm just going to just mix up a bunch of these colors here. Okay, for my next brush, I'm going to use my 1-inch oval mop brush. And I think I'll take sap, light olive green, some blue, and some orange. The orange in there is what's going to tone it, so that I don't get a bright emerald green. That color's fine, I just don't want that for this specific area in my painting. So I'm going to come in here and continue with some bushes, and start tapping this in, and just sort of fluttering around with my brush very, very lightly. Same down here. Really ease into this. Remember that I don't have any reference photos that I'm going by. I'm making this all up on the spot. Didn't even have a general idea of what I was going to paint before I began this. I'm doing this as soon as these ideas are coming to me. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of yellow white. I haven't washed my brush off. A little bit of yellow white and the green and the other color that I made with the blue and the orange. And I think I'll start adding our highlights now. a little pull and sweep. It's nice to have a little bit of both texture and those soft flowing hills. And some more highlights, emphasizing more on the yellow and the white. We've got a little layered area here. Not really sure yet. Could be a tree coming up here with these little grassy landings. Could be a staircase. Hope you guys are enjoying watching this video and this painting come together. I've got a number 10 flat brush now, and I'm going to go back into my yellow, light olive green and white. And I'm liking this over here. I like this feeling. It's 3D and it's kind of exciting. Having these different levels maybe take us up in the clouds. I'm just going to really exaggerate and have that continue up over here. And let's see, maybe we could add some stairs in here. To be the same color. I just want to space them fairly evenly here. You could just do the lines across like this, but you can also add a little slant on either end, like a little diagonal line, but you don't have to. Add a little bit more of a highlight right here. Just taking a little bit more of my neon red, some white, maybe a little bit of that light buttery yellow. And just gonna go over that a little bit. It's drying darker than I'd like it to, so I'm just gonna go over and with a few shades lighter by mixing that white in there. Okay, I'm going to come underneath here now with that deep green that I made with the blue orange in both greens. And I'm going to add a little bit more contrast. A few lines up and down, quick little squiggles, and a few across like this. We get a little bit of earth underneath. I think it might be neat to have some little windows in here, so I'm going to use my yellow, orange, and white with my round brush, number 5. Windows, doors. Have some skinnier lines here and there just so that it looks like there's windows from other angles and kind of goes all around. I have a little archway right here. Little window there. You can decide wherever you want your little windows and doors to be and how many you want. Add a little bit more white here. I want it to dry nice and bright. And I'll come around with my dark green, the earthy one with the orange and blue. I'll add some shutters. And a little shadow around the door. We can add a little diagonal line on either side if you want, each going out in the opposite direction. It'll just give your windows a little bit more character. And then I think we can add some flowers. Maybe I'll take a bit of phthalo blue with my red. And we could have a few little flowers. A little bit more green here. A little bit of the light olive green. Some leaves. You could use a small mop brush for this too. Or just add a lot of little dabs and taps like this with a smaller brush. Well, I'll be a little bit more generous with my red here. And I'll add a shadow here on either side. I'm going to come in with a smaller liner brush. This one is a 2. And I'm just going to take that with a bit of water here, thin that dark color out. And I'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 lines like that. You could even just do 2, 1, 2. Just for some of the windows if you want to have a little bit, but this one is more of like a doorway. Or you could just do simple one like that, a little cross inside. But I'm going to go back inside here and reapply my light because I made it a little bit too thick. So I'm just going to go over top of that. Same with this one. It's really easy to fix them. And these are drying a little bit darker than I'd like, so I'm going to add a little bit more to brighten them up. I'll take a little bit of my red and blue. And add a little bit more shadow in here. Okay, I'm going to come over with another layer of yellow, white, and light olive green with my flat brush. Now we'll come in and create a little bit more soft looking foliage with both greens, sap and light olive green. And I'll just tap a little here, a little bit more of the light olive green now to make it stand out a bit more. You could even use a bit of yellow and white. Very carefully add little bits like this. A little bit of yellow, white. Just adding subtle highlights here. Okay, let's add a little bit more depth here to the stairs. So I'm going to take my green and my orange and pull across. Just going in between. Okay, so that we've got the shadow, or the underside, front side of the step, and then the top of the step. And then I'll add another highlight on top. Okay, I'm going to continue adding a few more waterfalls here. A little bit of phthalo blue in there with the yellow and the white. And then a little bit of gentle movement here. I'm gonna add a few back in the distance. A little bit more of the olive green. I've got a little bit of phthalo blue in there. Okay, I'm gonna make a purpley color here with red, phthalo, and white. You can see it a little bit better right here. And I'm gonna start creating some scoops. A little bit more blue. And I'm going to add a few more waterfalls right in here. And just pull and drop. Got some luminous rose, and I'm going to use my little mop brush here, that mini one, and just start tapping in some flowers. Some bigger ones here. And then a little bit of white, kind of swirl that in and add some highlights, because this is going to dry really dark. So the white will really help to keep the color nice and bright once it's dry. I'm going to just layer in some flowers here to sort of just frame this side in. I'll take the rest of my neon rose here and add that in as well. I'll just add a little bit here and there. Maybe there's some little petals. I don't know. I'll just gently blend that out. And then here I'll have some lighter pinky flowers. So I'll take the neon red and white. I've already got a light color there. I'm going to make these stand out a little bit better. Add some texture. I'll add just a little bit here along the side too. Work out that red into the white. And then back over to the rose and the white. Tap, tap, tap. And then ease off. So it's like thicker up here and then a little bit skinnier. A little bit of water on my brush. And I'm just going to barely touch the canvas. Pull and sweep. I'm going to add a little highlight right here. Use the same brush. I'll add some yellow and white. And add some highlights. Maybe down here. A little scoop. And then I'm going to blend that out a little bit. I think I'm going to bring one more step up here. So I'll just take my white, a little bit of yellow and white. One more up here like this. And then shadow. We'll have another waterfall in here. Feels like something's missing. So when you paint your waterfalls, you can have them start coming in on an angle like that, or you can have them skinny just like that, or just flat straight across and down. And just maybe we'll have somebody sitting up here. I'm just going to take these dark colors that I have with a little bit of the white, blue, that greeny color. We'll add a head here, shoulder, go down to the waist. Okay, so oval head, triangle, and then out. So it looks like they're sitting. And then we'll just bring an arm down, resting there. And Mother's Day is coming up, so we could have a child sitting here. And the mom's arm around her child there. Take just a little bit of purple and mix that in so it's a little bit darker. Pull some hair down here. A little bit more. And we could create a door. Maybe we'll have an oval window in the door and then just come around. With green and orange. A little bit of water on my brush here just to help. So you can choose any brown that you want. And then I'll just re-add a light in the window here with a bit of yellow, white, and orange. And a little handle right there. And we can add a little orange and yellow on there as well, just to make it look like a shiny handle. I'm going to add a little bit of color to my shutters here. Blue, yellow, and white. Just a few little accents here, just some more color. And a little bit here on the figures. And I'm just using up the last little bit of my purple that I made with my blue and the luminous rose, and just adding a little bit extra flower petals and color in here. Just want to add a little bit more of color on these steps as well. A little bit of that violet's kind of pretty in there. Okay, well, this painting was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And you just never know what you're capable of creating. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you all soon in another video. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye!